Baha released a statement following court proceedings today saying it looks forward to engaging in substantive discussions with the parties to try and reach a consensual resolution that will allow them to move forward, and acknowledges the government's constructive role in those conversations. Now, but prior to that development, though, Baha issued a very strong statement blasting government over the non-payment of staff, with government lashing back, setting the record straight, saying delay was because of the unnecessary amount of information exchanges between Baha and the Treasury. Clint Watson joins us live. And Clint, this really is a stark change in tone compared to what we had last night.
Chris, you said it correctly. It's a contrast and a big difference in the war of words. The war of words escalated to new levels when Baha released a statement late Monday regarding the government's payment to employees, noting that it was not their issue, but a government one. Baha claimed the government kept coming back for more information to process salaries. Baha said it found it disgraceful, saying it was prepared to pay salaries. However, the government saw fit for its own reasons to obstruct this process. Baha called it unconscionable and disappointing, saying the government was concocting a sideshow. The statement questions why the government, in their view, is not fully supporting the project's developer, which, along with Bahamians, have been victimized by the repeated failures of the general contractor. Baha termed the government's behavior as sowing confusion and doubt about the future of Baha. Well, Prime Minister Perry Christie called Baha's statement disappointing, both its intemperate tone and incorrect content. The Prime Minister called it particularly regrettable. He says at a time when rationality and cool heads are required to deal with the current crisis at Baha, the company's leadership appears to be going to pieces under the mounting pressure. He also said that the statement from Baha has given him grave concern for the state of Sarkis Israelian's mind, adding that as recently as Sunday, Mr. Israelian was calling him completely unsolicited to give his private assurances and to express confidence in him. But now, just one day later, he was issuing a public statement saying the exact opposite, and in tones resonating with gross disrespect for the elected authority of this land. Mr. Christie says he is at a loss to recall any previous instance of a foreign investor who took it upon himself to publicly excoriate the government of the day in such a shrill and belligerent manner. Now, the Prime Minister also said that Mr. Israelian should cease and desist from trying to fool his own workers and the general public, and that he ought to know full well that the delay in effective payment to the workers had absolutely nothing to do with any stalling or obstructive action on the government's part. The Prime Minister said he was advised that it was a result of normal informational requirements of the government's bankers and necessary account information exchanges between Baha and the Treasury. The Prime Minister said this is no time for Mr. Israelian to buckle under the pressure and lose his balance. The Prime Minister suggested he keeps his nerves steady, stop talking nonsense, and join with the government and all other interested parties in reaching a speedy and definitive resolution of the current crisis. So, Chris, there you have it, a stark contrast with the war of words that took place overnight. Now we're seeing softer tones and a willingness to definitely work with the two sides. And we can tell you that some of the employees have already been paid today, so we know that salaries are taking place and have been issued to Baha employees. Back to you guys.